Agenda topics. I want to go very briefly, just make sure we're all level set on the card. Then I want to share some of observations and analysis, what's the same, what's different. There's a lot of tricky areas and some other strange things that we'll go over. And I want to switch a little bit to defense. We'll give you some tips to identify hands based on exposures. And then we'll switch back to offense and we'll go Charleston practice. And we're going to do that a few times and we'll all work together and collaborate to see which way we'll go. And then we will wrap up from there. Right. So I've seen other reviews online that talk about the card, and that's not the focus of this one. This is really discussing what's on the card and then using the analyses to help you become a better player with that information. Right. So let's just go over basics. As I said, a pong is 3 identical tiles and a kong is 4 identical tiles. Still, as always, news is not a kong, 2022 is not a kong. Why is it important to know this? Because people like to say the rule is never use joker in a pair. But if you think about the rule as you can only use jokers in a pong, kong, or obviously a quint, then everything else goes off the table and you don't have to make all these kind of crazy exceptions. So only use jokers in pongs, kongs, and quints. That is not news. That is not 2022. We actually don't have news on the card this year, so we don't have to worry about that. So don't worry about singles or pairs. No jokers at all. All right. Also, basics. White dragon is, or soap is used as 0. This is the 23rd year that we're using the soap to represent 0.
You want the sound on.
Have a suit when it's being used as a 0. We know this. People ask questions all the time. Do I have to do it in soaps? It does not. I mean, do I have to do it in dots? No. And honestly, for the rest of our lives, we will be using 0. A soap is a 0. So like, let's just get on board with that. A reminder when you look at the card that colors are not the same as suits, right? I don't know why, if I were designing the card, I would have it orange, turquoise, and purple, so that there would be no attempt to try to align BAMs and greens and cracks and reds, etc. Now, here's something I really want to point out, just the last bullet on the page. A lot of times, or the league pays a lot of attention to what is being put in the parentheses, because we have some real estate issues, obviously, and we want to make sure that it is fully explained what combinations are or may not be permitted with a particular hand. Sometimes, based on the colors, and we know with the colors being suits, 1 color is 1 suit, 2 colors is 2 suits, etc., and matching colors are matching suits. But sometimes things are a little, can be ambiguous. And so the league takes their time to write out exactly what they mean. Sometimes it might appear that they conflict. If they do, words always take precedence. This is like writing a check, right? If you, I can say that for this audience because people know. If you write a number in the number field and you write out the words differently, the words take precedence over the number. Same thing here, okay? So let's just dive in a few things that are the same from last year. We have the same categories, nothing has changed. Math has not returned. I know some people are really happy that it hasn't returned in a couple of years. I know some people who like those hands, so we don't have it this year, so don't worry about it. We have 7 hands on the card that are identical from last year. So congrats, you already know more than 10% of the card. If you want to count the big year hand, it's the same format. So obviously 2021 turns into 2022, but there's a lot that are going to be just very different, only a tiny bit different. So we're going to dive into those in just a second. They've taken out 35-point hands on the card. So except for our quints, which are 40 and 45, and singles and pairs, which are 50, or the big one, 85, everything is only 25 and 30. last year, there were only 4 of 10 hands were exposed 30-point hands. So for those who play for money or playing in a tournament, take note, this year we have 6 exposed 30-point hands. So that's a lot more. Just take note that they're out there for you. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what's changed. And this is really interesting. So as expected, we see this every year, and I don't know about you, but it's one of the first things I look for when I get a new card, which is we have this 2-suit pattern, and it usually alternates year to year. Last year it was pung pung kong kong. I mean, last year was pung kong, and this year we have pung pung kong kong. And as far as I can remember, it is alternated back and forth every single year. And we have this pattern across all 6 categories, right? We have it in our year hand, we have it in evens, we have it in consecutive run, odds, 3, 6, 9. So this is all over. And it's really important to remember this pattern, because if you have some semblance of evens or odds or 3, 6, 9, we always know that the format is going to be pung pung kong kong for the 2 suits. So one interesting observation I had now is that I cannot remember the last time I've seen when our pattern, which often shows up in the consecutive run and the odds category, it usually, well, actually up until this year, at least in the last 15, 20 that I know of, always alternates between what I'll call a building pattern, pair, pair, pung, pung, kong, and a bell curve, pair, pung, kong, pung, pair. So last year we had our bell curve for consecutive run and odds. And this year, as expected, consecutive run goes back over to the other pattern of pair, pair, pung, pung, kong. But the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 hand, those are actually the first 2 on that line. Those are 2 of the ones I mentioned before that are unchanged. And so they do not match each other. So be aware that as far as I can always remember, they have been exactly the same and in sync, but this year they are not. So pay attention to that difference this year. Another observation for those who have started playing with the card can definitely attest to this is we are not seeing patterns or motifs that are carrying throughout the card as we often do in a year. Beyond this 2-suit that I've highlighted at the top, there is just not much. You know, when we would have a bell curve, we would see it in the evens, we'd see it in the odds, we'd see it in the 3, 6, 9. It is all over the place. There really is not a lot of consistency. So what that means is there's more patterns to try and learn as you go through this card. It's not going to be easy. I'm just coming right out with that. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very different than things we've had, but there is going to be a lot more to learn. And I dare say the learning curve might take a little bit longer than we've been used to in past years. I think it is great that we've branched out a bit. I felt that for most of the 2000 to 2010, I felt that we just kind of went back and forth, and it wasn't exciting. They've definitely gone exciting. So what else has changed this year? All right, the quints are gone. We do, except for the quint hand, obviously, but we no more quints of flowers. We've got flower pungs that were not on the card last year. We've got double pungs. We've got a lot of hands with a lot of flowers. So take note, they're going to be in demand as always. Also note the big year hand, which is always that I can remember lives down at the very bottom of the right-hand panel of the card, has now moved up to the bottom row under the 2022 category. People are saying, well, why did it go there? Does that mean I can use jokers? No, you can't use jokers. It's still a singles and pairs hand. It still only has 20/20 blocks and pairs. You can't. But take note, this is hard, a lot harder than last year. The point value is 85, and that has gone up from last year. It was 75, and I I think it might be worth even more, honestly. But last year you needed a 1 and 2 twos in every suit. This year you need 3 natural twos in every suit. So good luck. I don't mean that sarcastically. Like, this is going to be hard, and I'm excited to see when people make it. Definitely let people know. All right, so a couple things to look out when we're talking about exposures. We do not have wind pungs that are exposed. Yes, there are pungs in the concealed hand in the year category and in the concealed hand in the wind dragon category, but that's the only place we have pungs of winds on the card. If somebody puts up a pung, they're dead. Don't hesitate to call people dead. That's not rude. That's how you play. It gives you and everybody else at the table more opportunities to pick from the wall and make your mahjong. This little consecutive run of 3 numbers, just a little baby singleton pair pung. I've not seen that show up in the Winds and Dragons, so that's something new. And thank goodness we do not have to keep all this stuff in our brains of matching. I know I had mnemonics to remember the evens and the easts and the greens, that was all together. And if you had odd numbers, then you had to match that with the north south or the red, like, don't worry, whatever number, you can use it with whenever there's a number in the wind dragon hand. Don't worry about it. All right. A couple areas to look out for. Now, these are the changes, and I have already goofed one of these and called mahjong incorrectly because I did it on the 2021 version of this pattern. So we do have the same flower 369, but we've changed the pattern. In fact, the first hand you see there, the pair Kong Kong Kong, that hand has been on the card at least, I don't know, for the last 5, 6, 7 years, and it's not there now. So if you're used to saying, oh, well, I'll just do my 369 Kongs, it's not there. Now we've got a Pung Kong Pung Kong, which, as you noticed, does not match the recurring motif on the 2 suit hand of Pung Pung Kong Kong. So we're going to be all over the place. I mentioned before the 2 suit hand that we had last year in the pattern Pung Kong Pung Kong. Now, yes, it does follow the new pattern that we've got going on this year of Pung Pung Kong Kong, but look what they did. They changed it from a 2 suit hand to a 3 suit hand. Just when I finally got it in my head that it was not a 3 suit hand last year, now it is a 3 suit hand. And obviously, even though on this one, the reds and the 2s match, the notes say any 3 suits. So it does not have to, the Kong doesn't have to match the soaps. The East-West, this is actually the one I flubbed. We've got our year in the middle, but last year we had the North-South pungs and the East-West pairs, and now we've got North-South pairs and East-West pungs. We've got a little swizzling around on this even hand. Last year we had the increasing pair pung pung kong, and now we've got this kind of, I've seen it referred to as a stutter step, pair pung kong. And this last hand here in the consecutive run, I know I enjoyed playing this hand a lot last year, and we've got almost the same version, but instead of an opposite suit for the 3rd number in the run, we have opposite dragons. So one thing this does is it gives you just a little bit more flexibility because you can now do the hand with 8s and 9s, which you didn't have the opportunity to do that last year. All right. And before we go on, just I didn't know what to call these as a general overview, but miscellaneous observations and tips. So as I've been playing with the card aggressively to try to put this class together over the past couple of days, I've noticed that if you have odd tiles, last year we had that bell curve hand with 3 suits of pair, pung, kong, pung, pair of mixed dragons, 5, 7 dragons, 7, 9. This year, there are no opposite dragons in that category at all. So if you're collecting 5, 7, 9s, don't bother with your opposite dragons. They're not there. The other categories on the card, yes, you've got likes, matching and opposite, but in the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, nope. And this is part of what I mean about the inconsistencies across. It is going to be challenging to remember. So, excuse me, we have about the same number of hands, one less than last year, not a big deal. But what is a big deal that you should take note of is half of those, 33 of the 66, are in just 3 categories: the 2, 4, 6, 8, the consecutive run, and the odds. That is half of the hands on the cards in those 3 categories. What does that mean? Maybe when you're given it, you have to make a choice, maybe go towards 3, 6, 9. Oops, hang on. Also, 2s, even more so than last year, 2s are going to be in high demand, right? We've got 2022 plus the evens, and the evens category has expanded. And now we've got 2s in the quints, and a 2, 4, 6, 8, it is going to be all over. So if you're given a choice when you're trying to come to a decision point, or for example, if you're doing a consecutive run, maybe not start with the 2. If you can start with a 3 or higher, you won't be competing for so many of the same tiles as other people, just from a playing the odds perspective, and not odd numbers, odds like gambling. All right, so another thing, and this is kind of goes back to defense here, which is that terrible feeling when you've counted the table at the end and you're pretty darn sure that this is a safe discard because the other 3 are all already down. Every single number tile on this card exists as a single. SOAP exists as a single, East and West exist as a single. So even if you see all 3 of the other, that can still be somebody's Mahjong tile. Heads up on this one. It is going to be painful. I know that's going to happen. People are going to get frustrated. And by people, I mean probably me. So make sure to be aware of this. The only things that can be safe is that, and not that they couldn't have jokers, but flowers, the red and green dragons in the north and south. Everything else, a single tile can be somebody's Mahjong, even if you see them out there. All right. I'm just gonna pause for a second. Any questions so far? Just want to look at my time and on. All right, good. Everybody's still engaged. Nobody's like fallen asleep or had their head explode. Good. All right. So let's move on to the next section of tonight's presentation, which
Bernie's just put a comment in the chat, says she doesn't see a hand for a 9.
I said that too, Bernice, but it can actually be, if you look at the, where was it? On the very bottom of the card, the very last hand on the 3 singles and pairs, which is the 3, 6, 9, you'll see the middle one. I mean, they wrote it together so it doesn't jump out at your eyes, but there is a single 9 attached to that middle grouping of the 6. And for those who want to find the error, because I was looking for this too, you can find the 1 and 5 easily in the concealed odds. You can find the 3 easily in the concealed 3, 6, 9. We've got the 4, 6 over in the 2, 4, 6, 8. And for everything else from 2 through 8, the concealed hand on the consecutive run, where you've got that middle digit. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. All right. What are they playing? So I like to use this opportunity to go through and just look for some patterns or just some things that I might be able to remember to help me go through. Like the obvious one we just talked about is if somebody puts up a hung of wins, they've messed up. But let's just go through a couple examples here and see what we can glean from certain patterns that you might see. So let's talk about exposures with like numbers. And this is audience participation, so you can take yourselves off mute. So if somebody has exposed like number Kongs, what could they be playing? Now I'm going to give you the two obvious ones because we're in the like number. This slide is like numbers on the title, and there are two hands in the like numbers category that have two Kongs in different suits. So where else could somebody be playing if they've got matching Kongs?
The winds and the dragons.
Yep, the winds and the dragons. Very good. That's the fourth hand down for those who have the card in front of them.
The 13579. Oh no, the 369. Wait, where was I just looking a minute ago? In the 13579s, there's 4.
No, we're looking for like number, two exposures.
Oh, 2 exposures of like numbers. I'm sorry.
That's okay. There are more out there. All right.
Two,
So-
and then 2022 hands.
Yep, the 2022 hand.
Second one down.
Yep, if you see twos, they could be in the like numbers, or they could be in the winds and dragons, or they could be in the 2022.
2468.
And the
First-
2468, exactly. So if somebody's showing Kongs of twos, all of those would be a possibility. So I think you guys hit all of that. It's a lot. Don't just assume when you see like numbers that we're going to be in the like numbers category. There's a lot of places. And as I mentioned, the twos fit for every single one of these. So heads up when you see two twos, two Kongs of twos. All right. What about if you see like number pungs, different suits? Where could we have like number pungs in two different suits?
Like numbers.
Correct. Second
Numbers?
one down.
Yep, exactly.
Consecutive
2022.
Consecutive run. Yep.
The
2022. 369.
2022. Yep. 369.
In the odds, second from the bottom.
Yep. The 13135 and 57579. Good. I'll tell you, I went through this deck, I don't know how many times, and I added stuff every single time I went through, but look, I missed the year hand on that one. So I'm writing a note to myself to add it in. Like numbers, if we have a pung and a kong, where could we be playing?
Oh,
369, first one.
Yep, 369.
Any like numbers with dragons.
Yep, any like numbers with dragons? Yes.
Hmm. 13579, third down.
Yep. We've got threes and sevens. Yep. And there's one more on it.
2022 hands, second one down.
Yep.
And third one down.
Yes. No, not the third. The
Oh,
third is,
no, I'm sorry.
but you're right. The second one does. And then one more, if you'll look at the next to the bottom, the last exposed hand in the 369 category. So the point is this, I don't expect you to remember all the combinations, but I do want you to look at the slide and pay attention to the fact that like numbers are all over the card. So I always have to say this during Charleston, do not pass like numbers. They're going to be very valuable to somebody regardless of what category they're playing in. All right. Let's shift gears yet. We went from like numbers to, let's talk about consecutive numbers. And we're gonna, everything on this slide is consecutive Kongs. So If you've got consecutive Kongs, same suit, where can we be?
2, 4, 6, 8.
No, consecutive numbers.
Consecutive run, third
Run.
down.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Consecutive run, yep,
Fifth down, consecutive run.
yep, both of those. Exactly. So we've got our good old hand. This is one of the ones that carries over, the flowers, pair, Kong, Kong, Kong. And these two both have consecutive Kongs. But that's it. So if you see consecutive Kongs, this is the only little area of the card you can be in. All right, what if we've got consecutive numbers in different suits?
Consecutive run, third down, second hand to the right.
Yep. And the one right above it. This is a new hand, right? We've got the flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right. So let's talk, that's, everything's going to be in the consecutive run when you have consecutive, in the consecutive run category when you have consecutive. But what about if you have one skipped? So let's take a peek at if you're in the same suit, one suit, and you skip a number in between. Where could you be?
Skipping one number or many numbers?
Skipping just one number.
Okay.
Thanks.
For the same suit.
2, 4, 6, 8, the third one.
Yep. Yep, very good.
Mhm.
Where else?
Got me. That's why I'm here. Where is it?
There's a bunch.
Oh,
1,
hell.
3, 5, 7, 9, the third one down.
Yep, you've got the 3 5s and then the 7 9. So if you see 3s and 5s, 7s and 9s, you could be that, or in the consecutive run category. Even if it's the same suit, don't assume it's just our favorite pair Kong, Kong, Kong of 1, 2, 3, because now we've got this hand back this year of the Kong, 3 pairs, and the Kong. I kind of like this hand. I'm glad it came back. It's been a while. And what if we skip a number in different suits with the Kong?
Under 2, 4, 6, 8, the 3 flowers, the 2s, 3 flowers, the 8s, which is such an interesting hand. I mean, really. Ooh, is that right?
Yes,
Am I
that's more
right?
interesting. I'm looking for just one
2,
skip
3,
number,
4.
but
Oh,
yeah,
one.
that is
Oh,
an
okay,
interesting
okay.
hand.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. I'm sure.
Third one
you'll-
down in the consecutive.
Third one, yep.
How is that a skip number? 1, 2, 3?
I'm sorry,
What,
because it could be 1 and 3. If somebody puts up the 1s and the 3s in 2 different suits, the third row, the
Mhm.
second hand, the 3 suit variation. And then I'll show you what else. And look, I didn't have that one down on my. Oh, I wrote it by accident. Clearly, I did not mean to have that first one for consecutive run. Clearly, I meant the 2 flowers and the 3 suits. I will fix my slides. Okay. Let's go through one more bit of this practice on defense, and then we're going to switch over to offense. All right. Pungs. Consecutive pungs, where are they?
1, 2, 3,
Consecutive
4,
runs.
5,
Uh,
3s and 4s,
Yep, the 3s and 4s.
and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the same thing, 7s and 8s.
Yep,
the 5th one down.
and the 5th one.
Uh-huh.
Both
Mhm.
versions of it, the single suit or the shared.
This one just-
All right.
3, 6, 9's the first one.
No, that's not gonna be consecutive.
Oh, it's not, yeah.
Hang on, we'll get to the skipped in a bit. Consecutive numbers in different suits. So for example, a pung of ones and then a pung of twos. Different suits.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like numbers.
I'm looking for consecutive numbers.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'll let you guys off the hook. Does not exist.
Oh, all right.
But take note of this because if somebody puts up consecutive pungs in two different suits, they've goofed. Right? Does not exist on the card. So these are kind of the things to glean out and help make sure you can identify some of these or hopefully don't see that when it comes out. All right, let's skip a pung, pung with a skip in the same suit.
Hmm.
1, 3, 5,
3, 6, 9, the first one.
369 skips 2, but yes, the 1, 3, 3, 5. Yep, the 2 suit hand that works there.
Mhm.
And the second one in that area, the 5, 7, 7, 9. Because we know the pattern this year is pung pung. Where else?
2, 4, 6, 8.
Yep. Yep, both versions of that hand. And good job. And last one on this slide, pung pung, skip a number, different suits. And I'll give you a little hint, it does exist. It's not a card trick.
The 2, 4, 4, 6, 8.
Yes. And that is the only hand on the card where this exists. So take note, if somebody puts up consecutive pungs in different suits, doesn't exist. If they put up consecutive pungs in 2 suits that have to just skip a number, if it's anything other than 4 and 6, that doesn't exist either. All right. Any questions before we go move on to the next section of the evening? All right. Oh, I forgot about this part. I should look at my own slides. So this is kind of ridiculous. And these are the kind of things that I can't decide if I like when the league does this or if it just drives me absolutely bonkers. If somebody has this exposure, usually when people put up the second exposure, people put up one exposure, you can sometimes tell which part of the card they're in or which part of the card they're not in. If they put up 2 exposures, you can usually narrow it down to just a couple of hands. 3 exposures should be pointing at a single hand, but it's not this year.
It's this one.
What could this be?
It could be the 2,
Like
4,
numbers.
numbers.
See the like numbers? Yep.
2,
Or the
4, 6,
twos and the
8.
eights.
1, 2,
Could be the
3,
2,
4,
4, 6,
5,
8.
6. Number
Yep.
6 down, 2, 4, 6, 8, number 6.
Yep.
Consecutive run, second one down.
1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
No, we don't
I
have
mean,
double
I mean,
pungs in the
consecutive run.
consecutive run. Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So look at this. If somebody puts up 2 flower pungs and a Kong of 2s, they could be doing it in the like numbers section. They could be playing the 1, 2 in a consecutive run. They could be playing 2, 3 in a consecutive run, or they could be playing that funky hand of 2s and 8s in the evens. This is a little mind numbing. So be heads up about this, guys. If you see the 2, we could be like numbers or consecutive numbers. So, all right. So let's move on to everybody's favorite part of how do I do stuff with how do we learn the card and make use of all this mess? And I don't know about you guys, but this is always the week when I go, oh my gosh, we have to learn a new card. I was just not comfortable. Oh my gosh, this is so hard, right? Folks who've taken classes from me before have heard me say, when I first started playing Mahjong, I mean, the Charleston's hard. And I would just kind of muddle my way through and just get to what I thought was the game, the pick and discard phase. But this is really important. I would consider Charleston, like, a full 50% of your attention and focus should be happening during this time as well, because this is where you're going to build your hand to your advantage, but you have to make sure you are passing defensively as well, because if you make it too easy for somebody else to Maj, well, then you're never going to get a chance to play with what you've built up as a good, strong hand. So let's practice. We're here. All right. Oops. Why is it not sharing? New share. All right. Does everybody see this?
Mhm.
All right. So this platform is called I Love Maj. I've
Mhm.
played on a bunch of different platforms out there. I've had plenty of concurrent subscriptions. This is definitely hands down my favorite. These are, in my opinion, the smartest bots that there are and play the most realistic Mahjong. And plus there's a host of other features in here. But what I want to use right now to practice is this exercise room. All right. So there's a few things, and these are all great ways to get familiar with a new card. Highly recommend. Okay. We're going to go into Charleston practice and we're going to work this together. We're in 2022.
Charleston.
Yep. Oh, I don't. Let's put these, oops, in order. Oh my gosh. Again, what junk. This was the real life part. We don't know what's coming up. So let's give it a whirl. I'm happy to take suggestions here. What jumps out to people?
Not much.
Not much. I hear you. We do have 2 wins and 3 dragons. The 3 dragon hand is back this year. We didn't have that last year.
But we don't have flowers.
We don't have flowers. Nope. We've got 4, 6, 9. I'm just going to count. We've even numbers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Odd numbers 1, 2, 3, 4.
Like 3, 6, 9s, maybe?
We have 3, 3, 6, 9.
Or
High
4,
numbers.
6, 8,
Yeah.
but no 2s.
No 2s. So this is a mess, right? This is usually what things look like in my world anyhow. I guess we have more big numbers. So let's kind of, I don't know. We got to just start with something. I'm going to hang on to the dragons. Do not pass the soaps because people are going to need that for the 2002 category. And you can go across. What's that?
The 8 dot.
The 8 dot? Why do you want to pass the 8 dot?
There's no other dots.
No. Although we do have 2 8s. That's actually the only tile we have
Yeah.
duplicated. Let's throw a wind in here. Pretty messy. 3 and 4, but this is just a mess. Okay. Now we have, well,
2
this is
north.
nice. We have
Yay.
2 norths, but look, we picked up a whole bunch of evens. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. So let's maybe kind of sort of go towards evens.
Yeah.
See what happens. A 5, a 9, a north. I'm going to hang on to my dragons, all suits, because
You're going to short the north. You're going to short the north. Okay.
but we just have 2.
Mhm.
So where do we go? We're looking for,
Here's another north just came back to you.
yeah, of course it did.
Yeah, of course it
That's how the
did.
game works.
Right.
But
Oh, man.
now we have more Well, shoot, we've got 7, 8, 7, 8. Let's just 7, 8, 7, 8 drag in a little. We could maybe do that. Evens. I still kind of like evens.
Mhm.
All right. And we'll give up this 6 because it's by itself in a suit. All right. Yes, we want to continue.
Second Charleston.
All right. We got more evens. So now let's take a look at what we've got. We've got a pair of 8s and another 8. We have 2 4 and a 4 bam. We don't really need to,
That was the Glen.
we don't need to put too much thought. Well, actually with the 8s, we can be going towards the to the like numbers possibly.
What?
I'm
No,
listening.
The
I know.
8 with the dragons.
into if you're interested.
We don't like any of those. Oh, we got another 8.
8.
All right, so I think I would probably get rid of this 2. We could maybe, right now I like the like numbers. We still have that even hand. We could do 2, 4 in dots, 8s in cracks. And
What
then
about the 2, 4, 6, 8s, 2, 4, 6, 8s with the multiple 8s?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Except the 2 and 4 are like the 1 8 we have. But
Yep. Nope, you're right. That's a good one to keep. Let's just pass 2 then, because I don't want to pass a pair of norths.
Courtesy pass.
And before we do this, let's take a peek at what, I'm gonna just get all this
there's
garbage
that. Yeah.
here. So let's see, the computer can help us out here as well before we do our final pass. So it actually shows us what it has determined to be some of the hands that it suggests. So we didn't actually talk about this hand because we were void in the 6s, the 2 suit 2, 4, 6, 8. Or that. At the bottom here, this was the like number one we were talking about. We did have a decent amount of tiles towards it. 7 tiles is not a bad start when you've got half of your hand good to go. So hide that. We'll get rid of these 3 tiles here at the end. And, ooh, it just jumped over because now with that pass, we have 8 tiles. Nope, that was already there. Ah. But not a bad start. I don't love this direction we went with the evens because we've got these singletons,
4 and a 6.
which are gaps, this 4, 6, and the 6 gaps. That's very concerning. And we're missing a flower pair. So let's do this again. Same tiles. Let's go in a different direction.
Okay.
So put something out there. What do we want to do that? Let's not go evens. Maybe we want to stick with the wins, dragons, wins 2022.
Wins, dragons, and maybe consecutive numbers there, like the 7 8.
Okay. So let's get 5, 9, 4. I'm going to keep at this point any wind, dragon, or a number 2.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
All right. So let's kind of swing over with the winds and dragons. We could do that. There's a
We
like
got
number
East,
hand.
west, 1 2 3. You've got 7 and a pair of 8s.
We could do the east, west, 1, 2, 3, or we could do the one below it that takes advantage of some of the winds also and the 8s. So, oops, I could do 6.
Hey, Bonnie,
Yes.
I have to leave in a couple of minutes because I've got another Zoom meeting, believe it or not. But what program is this?
This is called I Love Maj.
That's what I thought.
MAHJ. Yep. And I'll talk about this at the end, but everybody who registered for this class, I will share the link in an email afterwards, and there's a code, use my initials BL for Bonnie Leach, and you can get a free 3-week trial.
Oh, yay.
So yay.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
You are welcome. Let's see, what do we got here? I don't know. Ooh, the 7 came back.
So cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great features here. It's we have 7878 dragon. Of course, we want to continue. We have junk. Just a miscellaneous, not a 2022 tip, but just in general, if you're not decided on a hand when you get to the point of second Charleston, just keep going. Don't say, well, I've got 6 tiles for this and 6 tiles for that. I don't have enough to pass, because 6 tiles is not a really great start. So pick one and just keep going. All right, so what are we looking at? We're looking at the 7878, maybe 7878. Wait, we've got cracks and dots, so we would keep the green. I'm gonna keep this north, because maybe we could do that little bitty 78123.
No dragons have come in on a pass.
Nope, they have not, because these are good bots and they're not passing.
Mhm.
They're
They're
being
giving you
defensive.
wins, but no dragons are flying in.
Nope. Yeah. So we ended up with a pair of 5. See. Oh,
Oh,
I can't even. We have
I
like
would,
5,
I would
6.
vote for the green dragon and pass that. That's me. And
Well, we have this little bit of 7878 green.
mhm.
I don't like passing soaps, but I just kind of want to get another tile.
Mhm.
5 isn't doing us anything.
Courtesy pass.
And we got a red. That's probably the one that we went out before. We have norths. All right, we could. We're set
What
up.
about north, souths and 8s?
Well, we've got north south with the mini run, which we could do 789, or we could do the northeast west south with the like numbers. Yeah, I would keep the north. We've got the 7 and the pair of 8s. That's the hard part, or those are, I just call the vulnerabilities, because you can't cover those with a joker at any point. I kind of like that between 7878 dragon. I would get rid of the, well, let's see what it says. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was saying is our, that's the north-south 789. And this was the other one that we said, the 7878 dragon.
Maybe keep the 5 bam, you do 5, 6, 7, 8. That's
I
the
don't-
third one they show.
Yeah. 5, 6,
Pass to 5 bam.
I did pass the 5 bam, so maybe it comes back. So
Oh,
I can
okay.
get rid of the 8 bam.
Or are there, you can
I'll
keep
get rid of
the,
these 3 at the end here. All right, so let's do 3 tiles. All right. Ooh, they think we should go with the quints with 1 dragon and 1.
they never consider how many jokers you have though.
No, it does. It absolutely, because it calls this, it's shaded, so it's using it as a green in this example.
Yeah, but you only have 1 joker, so.
Yeah.
For quints.
So there's no sure way to go with this, because I think that even though we had 1 more tile for the 7878, the 7s are both pairs and we only had singletons. So, all right, I do not want to replay that one again. Let's get a fresh batch of tiles here.
2 tiles.
Okay. Oh, look at that. We have a pair this time. Yay. You always want to anchor around the pair. So we have a pair of 9s. We have 8, 9.
9 bam.
We have a 9
There too.
bam.
You have odds.
And we have odds. So let's get rid of
Put
the 4. I'm going to get rid of the 3 because I think we're going to be staying up. In the odds category, if you take note, and this is typical most years, there's only a couple hands on the card, typically the first line, the last line, and one in the middle, where the hand goes from 1 to 9. Most of the category, your hands are going 1 to 5 or 5 to 9. So when you see odds in your hand, take note, are they high numbers or low numbers? Because I only have the 3 below and I've got a 7 and 3 9s higher, even though it's odd, I'm gonna let that go so I can give a pretty mixed up pass. All right, what do we got here? 8 9 8 9. All right, I'm liking that. What can we do here? Well,
North, south, 7, 8, 9.
yep,
If
we
you
could
get a
keep
7.
that. We could get rid of the 5. Get rid of the green.
Yes, yes.
Okay, people like that?
Mhm.
All right. Oh, now we paired up the 8s, of course, because we got rid of the green.
But you have the winds with the like numbers.
Or we
You
have
picked up a west.
right, absolutely. So let's drop the 6, the red. I think I would just do 2 at the moment, because we're kind of spanning this little consecutive run, which only requires north-south. We could just do 7, 8, 9, like we were trying to do last time. Or we could do the 8s with the like numbers in the winds dragons category. We have the 2 kongs of 8s, a pair of north and east to west, and a pair of souths. So let's just do 2 right now and see what happens. Nothing. All right. This is what I was talking about before. We don't really have enough towards one hand, but we do need to make a decision to keep going, because even though we're straddling, if we stop, we're not in great shape. So we're just going to make a decision and push on. So we could keep the 6 and do 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got a lot of choices here.
In the chat, it says on no game are you allowed to pass just 2 tiles in Charleston.
Absolutely. So the Charleston, there's 2 rounds. We've got our first round where we go right across left. And the second round goes left across right. At the end of the first round, so that left, you can do a blind pass. You can pass none, 1, 2, or 3 tiles. And then, and when you start the second Charleston, and now we're gonna go left across right. When you get to the right, that third one, you're also allowed to pass any number of tiles that you'd like. I'm gonna just take a peek here in between, not gonna wait for the end. What does this think we should do? All right, so 8, 9, 8, 9 dragon. 8 tiles towards that. 7 tiles towards 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 towards 1, 2, north, south. With the run, well, no wonder we're confused. These all are very equally balanced. All right, so let's just pick one and go with it. Suggestions on where to go?
I would keep, at least go somewhere where you have 2 possible hands, like the winds.
Okay, so let's do that. So let's stick with the north-south. I can get rid of one of the wests. And if we do, well, yuck. Let's do the 6 and the 9. We'll keep the pair of 8s and we'll have our 7, 8, 9 to fall to try to build that little bit of a run. I'd rather do the 6, or I'd rather do the 7, 8, 9 get rid of the 6, then do 6, 7, 8 and get rid of the 9, because now I've got my singleton and my pair, and I'm in good shape if we go that way.
I have a question though, with the 6 and 9 that you just passed. Is that feeding into somebody's 3, 6, 9 hand?
It could be. I mean, generally, yeah, at some point you have to give something. We had so few tiles in our hand. We were pretty much just left with 7s, 8s, 9s. We were gonna either do an 8, 9 or 2 9s, which we definitely don't want to do. So we figured that's maybe the least problematic. All right, so now we have another 9. That does not really anything for us, does it?
No.
Except cause problems now, because we're gonna have to make a decision, because we don't want to pass a pair of 2s because they're like numbers, and it's the year 2022, so do not give people 2 2s in a pass. This is where we get to the sad point. We go, well, we could get rid of that 9. Wow, that's kind of crappy too. We don't want to give a pair of 9s.
You gave away a West, which could come back to you again.
It could. So that's what I'm thinking. I will get rid of the West. Now I still have these tiles here to the left of the Joker, which can be the north, south, and the little consecutive run. Maybe the West comes back and we can do the like numbers, but I'm happy with this pass as junk on the receiving end. All right, wow, another 8, fantastic. 2, 5. I don't know, sheesh. Help me out here, guys. Where do we want to go?
No flowers have flown in here.
I like the
at all.
7, 8, 8, 8, 9.
Ah, yes, that's right. I forgot all about it. I even said how much I like that hand.
I do too.
Ah, thank you, Bernice. I like that. This is the 3rd from the bottom on the consecutive run. We've got Kong, pair, 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 Kong. This I like. We have 2 of our 3 pairs set. So I'm gonna flush a 2, a 5, a south.
Courtesy pass.
And of course we get that back. And a 6. Ah, all right. I mean, we've already gone. We'll just keep moving with it. Ronnie, I am passing a 6 and a 9 again. Because they've come back, I'm gonna make that call that I don't think somebody's holding them because they've come back. But I'm gonna still hang on to the norths in case we could do the like numbers. All right, another one. I guess these 2 came in the past. So the 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 8. 8 tiles. This is the, what is it? The 2, 4, 6, 8 line 2. I think that went not bad. Let's try a different set of tiles. And let's see what we got. All right, this is definitely different looking than we have before. Oh, a pung. Great. We have an actual starting point. All right.
We have the north, south, and the little consecutive run pretty well established there.
Except
With 1,
for
2.
I wanted to
Oh, well,
get
we don't,
that pung.
no, we don't need that many ones.
We don't need that many ones, and to start with a pung is pretty great. So let's see what we can do with that, is where I would want to stay. So we can, I want to keep all these little numbers that are near it, the 1s and the 2s, maybe do a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to get rid of one of the norths, the 7, 9. We'll see what's up. All right, we've got another low number, a dragon. So I'll go south 9.
There's dragons, a wind, and up in the quints, and a like number.
You are right. Not loving going for the quints when we don't even have a single
Yeah.
joker, but it's okay. Like stuff can happen. I'm just gonna pick this 4. We'll see. More little numbers and north, east, south.
If we could get some more ones with the 4th one down on Winds and Dragons.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because on that hand, the hard thing is making sure you've got all the little bits of east and west, because with the pair of norths and souths and the single east and west, we got no jokers there. And with the ones, we can call that. So obviously we're void in something we need to calm, but it's okay. Maybe it'll come around. So I'm gonna keep that, and let's see. I don't want to pass the 4. I'm gonna pass this 2 and this 4.
Don't pass the other 2 the next time.
No, yes. Because I did that because I want to keep this 2. And we're keeping both of the dragons right now, maybe towards the quint, but that'll probably be next to go, depending on what comes in. Okay, continue.
Charleston.
North. So this is pushing us. We've got the quints. We have a pung of norths, a pung of ones. Let's keep that on hand, and we'll get rid of 4, 5, 7. Don't love that, but actually, I really don't love that. But we can't give them the 2 because we gave them the 2 last time. We'll give them the 4, 5. Actually, that's terrible. You can't do that. That's
What are the chances they're playing that?
well, it is part of that, because yes, the chances are slim that they're already playing it. But if they had maybe 2 or 3 tiles towards this 2 suit, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we just hand them 3, wow, maybe 3 miscellaneous tiles in their hand that otherwise were nothing is now 6 tiles and a really solid start to a hand. So especially if all 3 can be part of one hand, I wouldn't do that.
You need that extra north, the 3rd north?
Well, I'm trying to keep that open to see if maybe we can
If you get a couple of jokers early on, you got quints.
Yeah. Oh God, this is terrible. So we've got a bunch of, yeah, none of these are good.
Give away the soap.
Yeah,
You don't like to.
I don't like to give away soaps, but so let's talk it out. If I give away the red, people shouldn't be passing soaps. Oops, sorry. There's another, do not pass soaps this year. If you don't have to. But that
Lots
said,
of dragon hands too.
there's lots of dragon hands all over the card. That said, if I pass the red, the chances of someone passing me a soap are pretty small. So if I'm keeping this in my hand to look towards the quint, then you know what? I'm gonna get rid of this east. And we'll just stay flexible for a little bit longer.
Bonnie,
And,
what about looking at the concealed under Winds and Dragons?
oh, yes. Thank you,
I mean,
Ellen.
now you gave away the
I
west.
gave
but-
away east, but it's
Or
okay.
east.
So yes, we could get it back. The last, stuff flies all around all over the table. The last pass you can make where you might have a chance to have it returned to you is your second left. So the first pass of your second Charleston. So what I just gave away, that could come back to me. Whatever I give away now really can't, unless that person just holds it and then returns it in the optional. But I could maybe get that east back. So this is why we go through that. That's great. Oh,
You're
I
done.
don't know if that's the same one or not, but let's keep it this time. And we'll get rid of these 3.
Courtesy pass.
Those aren't going to be good. So let's see what it says. So it also likes the quint as an option. I mean, we are in good shape. One thing that is nice is the pung. We do have a pung of the norths, and that's the one that's only a Kong. So even though we were playing a quint, we're ready to call that, and we don't need a joker. The winds, dragons. This is the one we were looking at with the like numbers. And how many hands towards the, I don't think it shows up with the concealed one here. But we'll see. We still have, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about the same to do the concealed one. So let's get rid of these tiles here. This is a really crappy pass. We can't do that. All right, still likes the quints. Not bad. I'm just doing a time check. I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. So we still have, you know what, let's go ahead and play out one game. Actually, no, let's do another modeling because this is where we really need to learn the card, is picking the hand.
Charleston.
All right. 6, 7s, 8s. Nah, I changed my mind again. Let's play a hand. Where do I? Yeah. All right. All right. So I'm just going to go back over to here. I'm going to play with the bots. I'm going to just play for fun. I'm going to go with the less clever bots because we're just learning and we'll get up there. So no, we don't want to play with anybody else right now.
Charleston.
And let's full screen it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. 3 pairs that do not exist together in a hand. So
7, 8, 9's pretty good.
7, 8, 9 is
With
pretty good.
flower.
Brace yourselves. One of these pairs is getting broken up because it is. All right. Let's get rid of this single wind here. I think we just go ahead and break it up right now. Because we've got 2, 2, 3, and I don't want to be stuck trying to figure out what to do with that later on. Actually, we'll hang on to it for one round. Let's get rid of the 3, 4, 3, 5. I don't know what's better or worse. 4. Sort them. All right, 7, 8, 7, 8. We still have that. 6, 7, 8. What do we think? Get rid of the 6. We'll get rid of the 2 now. Oh, a pong and a pair. Oh, look what we got here, guys. 5. We don't have 5s. 6, 7, 8, but it's only a pong. We can do this. Let's get rid of the 2, 1. My brain has been so conditioned from this 2021 card. Do not pass a 1 and a 2 together. But yes, they're consecutive, but it's not as lethal as it has been the last couple of years. 7. Sure.
Why don't you
Sorry.
hold on to the 7 for 6, 7, and 8? That's gone.
Yeah. No, we don't want to stop.
Charleston.
1, 8, 5. I definitely don't want to do 2, 1. And I know I just passed a 2, so I sure don't want to send 2 2s to the same person. 5, I'll keep. No, I'm not gonna.
Because you have the, if you get 5 bams, you got 5, 6, 7, 8.
I think that is still the hand that we need to be marching to, that 2 suit hand, the
And keep the flower just in case you get
Oh,
flower 7, 8, 9.
Yep, don't pass flowers. And if we get jokers and flowers along the way, there is that quint hand, which is just flower 7, 8.
So this is what you mean.
Right?
Oh,
You know, I didn't do it in this mode, but there is a way to do a game that will also show you the hands along the way if you ask for the help, just like before.
This is what you can call.
All right. None of that's not
yes,
worth
correct.
anything for us.
Mhm.
All right.
I want to keep the 7 though.
Yeah, I thought of that as it went away. Let's get rid of all these. This isn't helpful. 3, 2, red.
Mhm.
All right, so. Okay, I'll hang on to this. So the 2 hands we're driving towards here until otherwise is we're going to drive towards the 2 suit consecutive run hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th one down. Pung pung in 1 suit. That would be 5, 6, and Kong Kong in another suit. 7, 8. And even though we're void in the 5s, it's only a pung, and we can call the 6, we can call the 7, we can call the 8. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And again, depending on what comes in, if we get another flower, we could consider the 1, 2, 3rd hand, a pair of flowers, Kong 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 in the same suit. The reason I passed away the 5 before, I'm not really considering the top hand in the consecutive run because we only had 1 5 and no 6s. And this year, since those are the pairs, like that would totally eliminate this advantage we have here with all of the pungs. So this is a pretty lovely start to a game. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles towards a hand, or 8 towards the other hand, but I think we're in better shape for calling here. So let's see what happens.
4 bam, 4 crack,
We do not need a 4 crack.
1 crack,
We do not need a 1 crack.
5 dot,
Nope. North. Now, nobody's thrown it yet, but we know a couple went around in the past, so let's dump
north,
the wins.
green,
Green,
4 crack,
4 crack.
3 dot, 1 crack, 6 crack, 5 crack,
Let's get rid of the 2s. If we're not using them, let's get them out there. We're gonna bust up somebody else's 2020 hand.
Mhm.
8 crack,
8 crack.
3 dot, 1 crack,
We'll keep the 8. It's up here
4
closer to
dots,
the numbers that we
7
like.
bam,
7.
7 bam, 5 bam,
Okay, there's one of them.
west,
That's okay.
8 bam, red, flower,
I'll keep that
9
8.
dot, 3 dot, 6 bam,
Now let's call it. I'm fine. I think because we have so many tiles, I'm good calling it. I will say sometimes I like to, if it's just a pung I need and none have been thrown yet, sometimes I'll let the first one pass, allow a little more of gameplay to happen and see how my hand might morph based on what we draw. But I feel pretty good about this, so let's go ahead and commit. And then we'll see how it plays out from here.
call,
So I said I want that for a pung. And we'll
8
discard.
crack, 1 dot, 7 dot,
We'll call that.
call,
And now everybody knows what we're playing. I know I didn't have this example. We didn't have pung kong, different suits, consecutive run, but if you see a pung kong in different suits consecutive, there is only one hand, and that is that 2 suit hand on the card that we're playing. If it changes from pung to kong and changes suit, you've got them locked down. So everybody knows what we're doing. But that's
8
okay.
bam, 8 bam, 9 dot,
No,
5 dot,
you know, since we're definitely not using the flower. I'm gonna go ahead and dump it now.
Flower. North. 8 cracks.
I don't want to get stuck
9
holding it
dots.
later when somebody might be able to use
1
it
dot.
when they
7
get
cracks.
closer for their hand
5
to
cracks.
be able to make mahjong.
Red. Green. North. 4 dot. 7 bam.
7, 3.
3 dot. 5 bam.
Hmm.
3 crack. Call. West.
Okay, so they've called oops,
9 bam.
a Kong of 3s.
Bam.
Green. Nope.
Green. Red. 6 bam.
No, we
7
already have
crack.
that. We'll get rid of this
7
7
crack.
crack.
East. 9 bam. East.
6.
6 crack. 4 crack. 9 bam. 4 bam.
All right, 38 tiles. I'm looking over here in the bottom right. I don't know if you see my cursor when I'm sharing.
Yes.
Okay, 38 tiles left. What's significant about 38 tiles?
It's one wall left.
That's one wall, right? We build a wall 19 and
Mhm.
2 high. This is one wall. So when you're thinking about it in gameplay, mentally, we've now gone and we're starting our final wall. For those that don't roll dice. Okay, so just have an understanding of where we are in this phase of the game. So we're coming towards the end
5 dot.
or the last
6
wall.
crack. 7 bam. Flower.
Ooh, 1. This doesn't sound familiar. This looks like a
1 bam. Call.
Yep.
South.
all right. Let's pause. Hang on.
6 crack.
Let me just pause here. So let's take a look. We've got Pung of 1s, Kong of 3s. What could they be playing? As soon as somebody puts up a second exposure, you gotta like just do a little mental timeout and figure out what their hand is, especially now that we're here in the final wall. Knowing that
Third
they
hand down.
which category?
135, third hand down.
Yep, they could be doing 1, 3, 3, 5, third hand down. In which case they would need 3 bams and 5 cracks. And if I just kind of generally scan across the discards, I do not see any 3 bams. I do see a couple 5 cracks. Okay, what else could they be playing?
Consecutive.
Consecutive.
Yep, consecutive 2 suits.
5.
So which they would need 2 bams and 4 cracks. I do not see any 2 bams. And I see 3, 4 cracks. Again, not science, but I'm gonna go with they're probably doing the odds hand. Because if there's 3, 4 cracks down and they need a Kong, that might, well, oh, and I've got the 4th one in my hand. So I'm going to assume that they're doing the odds hand here. So they're going to need 3 bams and 5 cracks. In case they're not, the very next tile I throw is going to be that 4 crack to get it out of my hand right now before we get any closer to the end of the game.
5 crack.
Yep.
Mah Jongg.
Ah, somebody else threw it. Darn, Dottie, you weren't paying attention. Let's see, Dottie was doing 3, 6, 9, some version of that. Oops, look at my controls on the front. Ah, the 2022. Ooh, they were close. Yeah. So where were the 5 bams? We saw 1 go out. No, we saw 2 go out. Okay, they're still here in the wall. Ah, well. Okay. I've got 825, so I'm gonna wrap this part up and we'll bring us to home. Whoops. Oops. New share. Point back to here. So let's bring it on home. Again, the only way to get to know the card here is practice. You've got to work with it, read it. I've heard somebody say they actually write the hands down, they take their card, they take their colored pens, and just that they've actually done the physical motion of writing it down. They've had their eyes on every hand and they've gone through understanding what each one looks like. Dump your tiles out, make a hand, see what does that look like. I've heard people say a nice exercise to do with that is make your hand, turn them upside down, mix them up, take half of them out, grab 7 more tiles, look at him and see if you can still see that hand that you know is there. Okay, practice playing against these bots. Do the Charleston, just keep doing it. I know the pick and throw is more fun, I think, but Charleston, you gotta understand the card because that's how you're going to be able to start swinging back and forth and going between hands as each pass comes in and what you're sending out. As I mentioned before, you can either sign on yourself to I Love Maj, just use my initials BL and you'll get a 3-week trial. There are some really extensive analyses out there on the web that you can find to go through. I've read a bunch. I do recommend them. This is not what tonight was about. Tonight was about, well, we go through this line and that line and that line. This was more just what to glean from it so you can improve your game. But I would check it out. I've seen some out there that are just riddled with statistics. Someone said the average price of the hand increased from 29.7 to 30.2. I don't really know what to do with that statistic, but hey, some people just love diving deep on that. One analysis I saw was a kind of terse and snarky. There's one woman out there, her mnemonics to try to remember the patterns were the language was just so flowery. She said, oh, this is the wedding day hand, or think of this as your lunch special, or this is the windy flagpole. Like that doesn't resonate with me, but it does resonate with some people. So if those are helpful, check it out. So do read through what's out there. There's a lot of great information on the web. Again, just practice, practice, practice. And finally, this is a hard card. Be kind to yourself. It is gonna take a lot longer, I believe, than it has in the past to get used to this card. There are a lot of different patterns. There's not a lot of similarity going through it. Take your time and don't get overly frustrated. Remember, this is a game. We do it to have fun. It shouldn't get anything all stressed out. I hope you found this evening's class valuable.